Welcome back, everybody. This is your weekly Pseudoadult podcast. I'm Joseph.
How's it going, guys? I'm Michael.
And Michael, I think we have a first time ever a caller in on the show. Caller, you're on the air.
I may not be in the Pseudoadults studio, but I am in the SDSU library because my friends abandoned me.
How's it going, caller? How are you today?
I'm doing very well. I just wanted to call the podcast to let you know that you Bernie bros are destroying America with your desires for free healthcare and Shia Islam. Thank you.
For those of you who haven't guessed, because we are on our summer break, Nick has to be satellite-in via technology to join us today. But
We're off gallivanting in LA, spreading our cultural Bolshevikism everywhere.
They're actually hanging out with their really racist bicycle friends.
Yeah, after last week's episode, I'm like, I have to meet this guy.
So, yeah, that's what they're doing over summer, just interning for Mr. Ollie.
All right, let's get started.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back, guys. So Nick and Joe, how close do you think we are to achieving Matrix-like society where you can plug yourself in and you just power a giant battery? How many years do you think it's gonna take for us to get there?
At least another 2.
Considering I ask myself if this is real life pretty much every day, I think we're in one right now.
Well, it may be coming a little bit sooner, but not for us. There's this concept idea going on the interwebs I've seen recently. It's virtual reality for chickens. You know,
why do the chickens need virtual reality?
Well, it's the whole idea in late-stage capitalistic society that if you want healthy, happy chickens, free range, but you don't want to give them the actual freedom, why not slap a VR set on their head, put them on like an exercise ball, and they're good for 20 years before you kill them.
Oh, so this is like simulating free-range chickens.
Yeah,
basically.
the concept art for this shit's insane. Like, there's just these chickens in these glass bubbles in these huge warehouses, and they just have like these VR sets on their heads, and they're expected to run on these exercise balls, and they just grow up that way.
So is there?
And then so they see all the virtual chickens, so they grow up to hang out with all the virtual chickens, but they never see real ones. So they just assume that they have friends and family, and then one day the fucking farmer just shuts it off, and the entire chicken's reality is just shattered right before it gets.
Are we gonna see like a chicken version of the Matrix, where like a Neo chicken like breaks out of the simulation and like goes on a rampage and tries to kill all the farmers?
I would buy the movie rights to that, because I definitely would go and watch that.
Wait, so does this mean that does the chicken VR work for just really fucking stupid people?
Yeah, I think so. Considering that most people in today's society probably have the average IQ of a chicken, we could probably see mass production of this.
So is with the advent of VR, is there now ethical consumption under capitalism?
You know what?
No.
I definitely think this is a move in the right direction. This is the way of the future. Just slapping chickens into the VR world, so they have to ignore their fucking depressing lives of being chickens.
You know, instead of changing like the systemic conditions involved with farming, we should just.
So I'm assuming my virtual reality cocks, they get horny, right? So do they have like little chicken fleshlights that they have to like hand them?
Jesus.
It's like it needs to be a fully realized simulation with all the bells and whistles.
You know, the article I read did not go into chicken fleshlights, but that may be a point to raise later on.
But there are chicken fleshlights. That's the implication, right? This is very important to me.
I'm sure you could probably definitely find chicken fleshlights out there somewhere.
Or the cloaca version of a fleshlight.
Oh yeah. That fucking sweet VR
Have you ever seen hawks mating in the wilds? This is going off tangent here, but
no,
I have not. I can honestly say I haven't.
I've seen a documentary, and they literally just fly into each other, like they slam into each other mid-air, and that's how they reproduce in air.
Oh, dude, have you seen those fucking videos of like those hawks that like they fly around like a fucking like mile up and like see like one particular duck and like fuck this duck. It's like fucking like dive bomb and they like just like hit the fucking duck in its head and it just dies instantly. And it's like, no, it's crazy, man. Like you watch a video of it and it looks like a duck is just standing there and just bam, just fucking dunzo. And then once you like go in the slow-mo, you see there's just this fucking like sniper bird like barreling in at Mach 2, just hitting him in the dome with his foot.
Predator missile of a bird.
Do you think birds see
Peregrine
flying?
Falcons, they have the gorilla mindset, and that's why they're able to do that.
Do you think birds see flying?
They neg the ducks first, and then they do it.
Do you think birds see flying as we see walking?
Bruh. That shit, bruh.
You guys want to hit?
All right.
This is quickly turning into the Joe Rogan experience.
Our next... Thanks for tuning into the Joe Rogan podcast. For my next host, I'd like to introduce, it's been a long time coming, Heinrich Himmler.
Have you guys ever really thought about what the pyramids would look like on DMT? I mean, like, really thought about it. I was listening to Alex Jones the other day, and he made some really good points, honestly.
Speaking about Alex Jones, I haven't heard him in the news at all recently.
Is he still doing it with family court?
He's been in family court. I think he lost custody of his kid to his bitch ex-wife.
Oh, I have no idea why any judge would have ruled in that
He
regard.
seems like a completely emotionally and mentally stable person.
Yeah, you know, he spends like fucking 12 hours a day having mental breakdowns, screaming about frogs and the globalists.
This is what
and the fucking Bohemian Grove. He seems like a stand-up dad.
This is what a normal human looks like, guys. Come on, this is the average
What a normal human looks like.
peak of physical existence.
I feel like we're ignoring the underlying fact here, which is the fact that Alex Jones got laid at some point.
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
true. That happens.
Damn, dude.
So there's hope for all of us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, can you imagine his like fucking like just pink taint, and then like he just like the
Oh my
entire
God.
time just like a faucet leaking, but just sweat off the fork.
He probably has a Roger Ailes type dick, which on record is, quote, described as red like hamburger meat.
Oh,
Fuck.
God
That
damn.
sounds hot as hell, man.
Yeah.
Dude, props to my boy Ailes.
I can't believe you would have to stoop to rampant sexual harassment with a hamburger dick. That just doesn't add up.
I've been saving this joke for a while. Can I say a joke?
Go for
Go
it.
for it.
Okay. So, when Mr. Ailes was dying, would you say that he was ailing?
Ah.
But on.
Damn.
So it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
You can't see it, listeners, but Nick, I don't know how he did it, but like out of the blue, these sunglasses just fell onto Nick's head.
So deal with it.
All right.
That would have been a perfect time for the air horn.
So how do you guys spell Carl?
Are we talking like revolutionary or accountant?
We're just talking about just a regular Carl on the streets. How do you guys use a C or the K?
Well, accountant is C, revolutionary is K.
All right.
I think that's how I've always kind of like gone down with it.
Well,
If there's a Q, then like fuck you.
I got Carl here, but he's not supporting any revolution I'd get behind. This is Representative Carl Oliver, who said that removing Confederate monuments, people doing this should be lynched.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
So this is a
Fair enough. Hear him
state
out.
representative from Winona. Winona?
What?
You wanna get a second pronunciation on this?
Winona?
Nope.
Winona.
What state's he from?
It's a gym leader in Pokemon, my man.
Exactly. He's a gym leader. I'm assuming some say in the South. I'm gonna say.
Well, where are the
Louisiana, isn't
removing?
it?
Oh,
where are they-
he's from. It mentions in the article here, the one I definitely read before the podcast, Louisiana.
Well, yeah, there are all of these statue removal businesses going down in New Orleans, right?
Dude, it's been insane. Like some of the workers that have to take off these statues, they have to wear bulletproof vests.
Yeah, and masks, and they have to cover up the license plates on their trucks.
Jesus Christ. All right, so
Yeah,
let's.
didn't my man Carl like compare the people fucking taking down these monuments to Nazis?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what the Nazis were really all about.
Let's get the full quote.
In memory of German East Tanganyika.
So the full quote here is, Oliver, my good friend Oliver wrote, "The destruction of these monuments erected in the loving memory of our family and fellow Southern Americans is both horrendous and horrific. If the, and I use this term extremely loosely, leadership of Louisiana wishes to, in a Naziist fashion, burn the books or destroy historical monuments of our history, they should be lynched," capitalized. "Let it be known."
Maybe they should just burn him too while they're at it.
"Let it be known, I will do all in my power to prevent this from happening in our state." So this guy.
Yeah, wait. So when he says in the loving memory of their Southern relatives and family, what do you think they look like? Their loving relatives.
Probably.
What kind of
wearing a
houses
lot
do
of
you think
gray.
I was gonna say they all probably look the same, covered in bed sheets.
Gray.
They
Anglo-Saxon in a large house surrounded by cash crops. Right?
Oliver sounds like he would be quite fun to go to a family reunion with, and that he would probably fucks all of his cousins.
Yeah, this guy is when he sees his niece bring a black guy over for Thanksgiving, he instinctively got up and yelled, "Get off my lawn!" Even though they're sitting at the Thanksgiving table.
This
That's
guy
probably the type of dude we're dealing with.
fucking blows my goddamn mind that he could even come out and say that the people removing these statues, he compares them to Nazis. And I'm just curious, does he actually know the history behind the Nazis?
I think it's safe to say Mr. Oliver's education doesn't go too deep in any particular category.
No, look, guys, you don't understand. Okay, look, the War of Northern Aggression was when the North tried to tell the good old Southern farmers what farming utilities they could and could not use. Okay, completely uncalled for.
I honestly have no sympathy for the people in the South who are trying to defend these statues under the guise of if you remove them, you're removing history. It's not like we're pulling
we're not celebrating it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the difference between celebrating and recording history. We're not pulling a great purge here and removing all names of of generals from the history books or going into libraries. We're think it's kind of in poor taste that you have a fucking statue to these people in the middle of your town square.
Yeah, okay, here's the fucking thing. Okay, the stupidest fucking argument they always make is oh, you're just trying to erase our history. It's no, motherfucker, nobody's going through the textbooks with fucking whiteout, trying to erase the memory of Jefferson Davis. It's no, you just probably shouldn't fucking have some monument to some slave-owning secessionist who literally tried to fucking destroy the United States of America over his right to own a black man.
Yeah,
that's a fuck. Okay, yeah. What kind of how do you even remotely use some sort of patriotic nationalist argument to defend these things when the fucking Confederacy was the closest America's ever been to falling apart and fucking split into two over fucking slavery? And this is where they try to make their line, defend their history, defend, oh, we're doing it for American history. It's bitch, you're trying to fucking end that shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have a dude who's thought, I'm gonna literally die on the hill of owning another person. That's where my moral high ground is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is we get that most of the people that died on the southern side were just some fucking poor goons that got drafted into whatever the fucking local militias, but it doesn't change the fact that fucking they were still fighting for fucking slavery. Nobody's gonna go around and build monuments for Heinrich fucking Grunt and the Wehrmacht fighting for the Nazis. Sure, loads of just random goons got drafted and died for something they didn't believe in, but they're still fighting on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. Just a testament to the power of the South. The South will rise again.
Or a power to the reactionary mindset of some of these conservatives who have removed the idea of slavery from the idea of the Confederacy, that it's bordering on almost madness.
Yeah, wait, what state right was it that they were fighting for? which one of those rights was it that that broke the camel's back? I forget.
All right, so I think we can agree that this was John James. What? Who was his name?
Carl Oliver.
Carl Oliver. You do not deserve to have the name Carl Oliver. And you definitely deserve to spell it with a K.
It should be a C. You should be a C, Carl.
You should be a C, Carl.
It was John Oliver.
I knew it. moving on to a different type of bougie political party, we have the Democrats in our own state of California.
Woo!
And
Yeah!
it's my understanding that our friendly libs up in Sacramento just had their annual statewide conference, right?
Did it go well?
Well, if by well you mean they successfully shut down a progressive Bernie-crat in favor of some North Hollywood pharmaceutical lobbyist power broker, it was a riveting fucking success.
Right on track, guys. Not only did they not give once again the Democrats did not give the left of the party even the time of day. They also literally gave them the middle finger at some points. Like the outgoing DNC chair John Burton, he at some points literally gave the finger to protesters at the convention, as well as told activists to, quote, get the fuck outside.
Yeah, no, that's the dumbest fucking thing. Okay, so it was nurses from the California Nursing Association, and they were sitting there, picket signs, saying, hey, how about you fucking get behind single-payer healthcare? It's like, oh, well, we already believe in all the California single payer. We actually support single payer healthcare. It's like, bitch, even if like feeble, smooth brain actually supports the concept of single payer healthcare, you've done absolutely jack and fucking shit to achieve it and bring it into fucking existence. So now what the fuck are we going to do when, California is sitting ripe with the opportunity to push for single payer, make an alternative to, Trump's fucking ghoulish regime. What are we going to do? Are we going to, double down on the progressive wing of the party that's actually been doing positive shit in the legislature, like trying to turn California into a sanctuary state? No, we're going to fucking turn our back on the California single payer system that we're trying to get set up and endorse some fucking pharmaceutical lobbyist fucking ghoul who spent the last year trying to make it so that way California couldn't lock in their drug prices to the subsidized rates that the VA gets.
Yeah,
fuck Bowman.
This is just one of...
It's like a fucking fraud, too.
This is just one of, like, at this point, a growing list of literal middle fingers to, like, the grassroots activism that we've seen sprung up in the Democrats' favor. The Democrats are trying their hardest just to get in their own way of actually winning elections. And
yeah, the thing is, like, okay, so California obviously is going to vote blue pretty much any time that Ronald Reagan isn't running for president. But so what did they do? They use it as some sort of like proving ground so the Democratic Party can say, hey, America, look at what we can do in a strongly democratic state like California. This is what we should export to the rest of the states. Is that what it's going to fucking do? No, they're going to fucking double down on the same limp dick, fucking unpopular, uncharismatic, just milquetoast bullshit politics that they've been fucking promoting for the last 20, 30 fucking years. And no, they're not going to actually fucking try and use their strongholds to, be a proving ground for their progressive agenda. They're just going to keep on fucking sucking pharmaceutical companies' dicks and failing.
Well, the corporate Democrats are just firmly in control of the establishment is what it breaks down to. And
yeah.
The election for the party chair, like, perfectly illustrates that point because you have this pharmaceutical guy who represents, like, the old guard and the old ways of raising money for the Democratic Party, which is just do a shit ton of charity events and fundraising events. And then you have the newcomer.
She's the Bernie babe is Kimberly Ellis.
Kimberly Ellis, yeah, from San Francisco, who just represents like the grassroots activism, like the Bernie-crats, the idea that we should take money out of politics, which the Democrats have been saying for like over like 20 years at this point and have made exactly zero gains towards. Like like that's part of their platform in literally name alone, and every action they do suggests that they're perfectly content with cozying up to corporate interests.
Absolutely. I mean, it's fucking absurd when you have someone like Kimberly Ellis, who's a up and coming new fresh face from San Francisco with the backing of the California Nursing Association, which are huge advocates for single payer healthcare. They were staunch supporters of Bernie Sanders, who is hands down the most popular politician in the United States of America. And no, Ellis gets fucking voted out of the DNC chair race by, I shit you not, 60 fucking votes. And guess which demographic of the Democratic convention was the key factor in having Mr. Bowman win?
It was probably those crazy activists who've infiltrated the party and taken us away from what Democrats really are.
Close. Party leaders and elected officials, aka superdelegates, were the deciding factor in pushing Bowman over the bump.
Goddamn superdelegates!
Yeah, and so the cool thing is, I mean, in my opinion, is that I don't think Ellis has actually conceded the race yet.
Oh no, that's true. She has refused
demanding like a recount. She's saying it was bullshit. She said that like they weren't doing like voter ID.
Yeah,
the convention.
And John Berman actually had the gall to go up in front of his all those delegates after the results were in and basically say that the party bylaws actually do not account for recounts. So he's like, sorry guys, my hands are tied, no recount. And as you can imagine, that went over quite well.
Yeah, and you know what's fucking shocking is that after, nobody voted for Hillary Clinton. Like, she had just some of the fucking worst turnout rates of any Democratic politician in fucking, I'm assuming, millennia. And what do? Do they, try and incorporate the new popular, upswing on the left wing of the Democratic Party into the party leadership? No, fucking time and time again, you're going to have guys like fucking Tom Perez instead of Keith Ellis, who's not even fucking left wing, just some basic centrist guy. But they can't even fucking give the Democrats that. And then you're going to have fucking Bowman, this just fucking power broker, North Hollywood fucking clown, instead of, a young nursing professional who has massive influence in healthcare, which is far and away the most important single issue to anybody in the United States is, the ability to fucking get healthcare.
I mean, I don't want to draw like too many parallels to the presidential primary race, but in the chairman position for the California Democrats has always been this kind of like a non-issue for like California Democrats. Like in the past 20 years, they've only had 2 different chairmen. And everyone kind of assumed that it was just going to go to this guy because that's what the party leadership had determined, almost like they had picked him already before the race. And the fact that this Bernie-crat almost won by like a really slim margin, just really speaks to the fact that these are popular candidates, despite everything the establishment is doing to like just stamp that down with their.
You know who they're popular with too? They're not popular with the fucking old hacks and goons that have been sitting in their fucking desk jacking off and drinking scotch for the past 40 years. They're popular with the fucking up and coming generation of voters. They're popular with the under 30s, with the fucking millennials, with all the people that are actually going to be in power for the next 20, 30 years.
That's what the Democrats should be worried about. Not that they could, which they very well might at this point, bungle up the midterms or like lose their shot at like regaining power. They're running the very real risk of completely alienating all young voters and activists who they could be using to fuel like their next generation of candidates. But no, like they keep just like turning up their nose at young people and the issues they're raising and saying, no, we like it the way we've been doing, and you guys can take your activism and suck it.
Dude, I fucking hope to God that sometime in the near future we get a Francois Hollande for the Democratic Party who's just such a miserable fuck up that the entire party just dies. And anyone with the slightest inkling of solidarity for, poor working people just split off and fucking join and make their own party.
We need to
that's
import
honestly the only fucking way anything's ever going to get past the left wing of American politics. It's not through the fucking Democratic Party.
I was just gonna say, I was just sitting here thinking, I was listening to you guys talking about, I was thinking, what if, I'm gonna float the idea here, what if 2020 elections come up, Bernie Sanders runs, but as a third party candidate under a new party he created, the Workers' Party.
The Vanguard Party.
The Vanguard Party. That would be insane.
No, he needs to call it like something memey like Bernsheviks.
We are the Democratic Bolshevik Party of America.
He could do it. I think he's...
You know what we need to do, guys? We need to start a GoFundMe to get Jeremy Corbyn to come to California. That's who we need. We need like an actual like working class guy who's like in solidarity with the working class and knows what's up. Jeremy Corman, if you're listening to this, I fucking love you. All right, lads. If you had to name your favorite condiment for toast, what would you guys say?
Mayo. Definitely mayo.
Ketchup.
Well, what if I told you guys that our generation's affinity for toast and the things that go on it is preventing us from reaching our ultimate goal in a capitalist society of home ownership?
What?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, a lot of times I'm like, oh, shit, guys. Well, I can get some fucking toast for the next week, or I can get a house. Might as well go with the toast.
I, too, come to that problem every time in the supermarket. It just always comes down to the bread aisle, where if I want the bread or the home.
The home is it's next to the bread aisle, right?
Oh, yeah. The home aisle is on the aisle next to the bread aisle.
Well, if you think this logic is a bit far-fetched, then a certain multimillionaire from Australia would like to have a word with you.
What is a cuck from
Is it the
Australia? What does he know about owning a home in California?
Well, his name is Tim Gunner, and he went on Australian's version of 60 Minutes last weekend, and he basically spelled out why he thinks millennials are having a tough time buying homes.
Yeah? Why? Please, if he can explain to me why I can no longer afford my 2-bedroom, 1-bath studio apartment, that'd be fantastic.
I thought that I was supposed to be able to live in a fucking mansion and drive a Bugatti when I was in college. That's why I don't believe in capitalism.
Dude, I hate when my trust fund just runs out of money. That's the worst.
Basically says, quote, "When I was trying to buy my first home, I wasn't buying smashed avocado for $19 and 4 coffees at $4 each."
Why does he need 4
Wait, this is
goddamn
how you know this
coffees?
guy's a billionaire? Because he spends $19 on fucking avocado toast. You showed your hand, bitch.
Yeah, right off the bat, where the fuck do you go that avocado toast costs $19?
Wait, maybe he just got a small loan of $1 million. That might explain some things.
Wait, no, maybe it makes sense. Like, they don't grow avocados in whatever third world country he's from, right? So they ship them.
Australia. I think Australia was where he's from, actually.
Australia, okay.
I've never heard of that country, but
I'm sure they don't have avocados.
It's kind of just like a prison colony in the English Empire. But yeah, he says that.
Fuck off, Wolf.
He says that young people these days, their expectations are very, very high. They want to eat out every day. They want to travel to Europe every year.
they want to have a stable
They want to
political
go to
system.
school.
This generation is watching the Kardashians and thinking that's normal, thinking owning a Bentley is normal. So yeah, this guy, so like right off the back, this guy's a fucking twat.
Mhm.
If he thinks that like all of like our generation's woes can be traced to the fact that we like to eat avocados on our toast and that's what's keeping us from home
Well,
ownership.
geez, I don't know about you, but I watched the Kardashians once, and then I got ass implants and bought a Bugatti. I mean,
Because that's just
can't
what's
pay
expected of us
can't pay
now.
my student debt now, but seemed fun for a minute.
Definitely think he's over-analyzing how many people actually watch the Kardashians religiously.
And underanalyzing literally every other aspect of the economy.
It's so fucking absurd
Yeah.
and obscene that I just want to die.
It's we get I feel like at this point in late stage capitalism, every week we get another one of these like let them eat cake kind of moments from like rich assholes who think they have suddenly this prescription of why the lower class is the lower class, and it always just comes down to a complete misunderstanding of like basic reality.
Well, if we look at this from like a psychological point of view, he just doesn't want to feel guilty about, being a fucking multi-billionaire.
Oh no, yeah, like that's the complex pretty much every like millionaire or billionaire develops. The fact that I got where I got like sheer skill and like bootstrap pulling alone, not the fact that I got incredibly lucky in whatever I was doing.
How much do you think he pays for his bootstraps?
He's shitting on millennials for fetishizing this like obscene billionaire, millionaire capitalist lifestyle that he himself is fucking living, right?
Yeah.
So his primary beef is not that these kids are raised in this just disgusting fucking environment where wealth is worshipped, where backbiting fucking weirdos are hailed as the harbingers of Western civilization, and then they happen to idealize them whenever they become this weird sort of barely an adult human being. No, that of course that couldn't possibly be the problem. No, it's because they want to eat fucking toast, right?
With
Dude,
avocados on them. That's the important thing, Nick. There is expensive vegetables on the toast, and that's what's making them poor.
An avocado is not a vegetable.
It's not a fruit.
It's a fruit.
It's a nut. I think an avocado is a nut.
It's a legume.
Anyways, it's fuck you.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Nick, get your avocado toast inhaler. You're dying.
Okay, man, almost didn't make it there. Almost went 10 hours without getting a $20 piece of avocado toast. But honestly, okay, let's go back to this like weird capitalist fetishization with like fucking obscene wealth. Like,
yes, let's.
Surprisingly, if you raise kids in an environment where billionaires like this fucking clown from Australia, or where fucking Instagram fitness thoughts like Kim Kardashian are like model human beings, unsurprisingly, people are going to be looking up to them and want to model their lifestyle at them. That's why I have all these fucking dumbass fucking chuds like posting Jordan Belfort quotes on their fucking Instagram saying like, oh, just gotta hustle to win, boys, hustle to win. And I'm gonna go drop 10 grand on a ski trip to the Andes Mountains, which I can totally do. Like, if you fucking tell kids that living this just perverse, indulgent lifestyle is what you should be doing with your life, so that's what they're gonna fucking come out to believe and try and reenact in their own lives.
Have you guys ever
and also,
followed...
fuck your avocado toast shit.
Have you guys ever followed one of those like billionaire mindset Twitter accounts?
No, please inform
It's
us.
fucking glorious, man. Shit.
They're simultaneously the fucking worst and then also kind of hilarious. Because they just like every post is just another vapid way of saying you gotta put in work to get what's yours. It's like pictures of like beaches and then guys in suits.
I think like the shit that blows my mind is when I see like articles about 80-year-olds working at McDonald's saying that they never want to quit and that this is like they don't want to retire kind of deal, and it just gets pushed as this weird propaganda machine that working until you're 80 at a fast food chain is what you should strive to live for in life.
Well, it's like it's seen as like it's seen as honorable because like in a capitalist society, your worth as a person is gauged on how much surplus labor you can produce, and so if you keep working and producing that surplus, you're seen as being more like respectable.
It is almost as if in the era of exploitation of labor, the commodification of the worker is the driving factor in society and production.
Mick's got a little ideology on his nose.
The Trascan of the ideology. And also, I like to point out the mental gymnastics involved with this asshole's like thought process, and the fact that he's able to turn like the group of people who can't even afford houses and somehow makes them the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like they're being
you
selfish.
You should have a house. Eat my ass. Fuck you.
It's like, oh, you guys don't have houses yet? What kind of lazy bums are you?
Dude, they're fucking asking for it, man. They're asking to be poor.
Yeah, because they're $20 avocado toast, which is
and they're
$4
coffees,
which you have to buy 4 of.
4 coffees.
Yeah. Who buys 4 cups of coffee a day? I don't think I've ever seen a single person do that shit. Unless
I mean,
like
finals.
Out during finals. Yeah.
When you're trying when you're trying not to fail your classes in order to get your degree in which you can get a job in which you can afford a house,
you need 4 cups of coffee.
You need 4 cups of coffee.
Well, back in my day, we just sucked the professor's cock and we got our grades.
In fact, my TA let me do a bump of cocaine before my final. It was great.
Shit, that actually sounds kind of horrific. I couldn't imagine sitting for 2 hours after doing a line.
Fucking tapping.
Alright guys, welcome back. So, we have some recent news to discuss, and for once it's not about impeachment.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm down. Let's do it.
In fact, our beloved Commander-in-Chief is currently abroad right now, guys, on his first ever foreign tour.
Is he someone else's problem now?
Don't use Rod. It's problematic.
I'm sorry, he's gone with the globalists right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's promiscuous.
He's someone else's problem now.
Right, so Trump is...
Where's his first stop?
His first stop on his 5-day trip is Saudi Arabia, our good friends in the peninsula. And...
our favorite state.
I guess, like, the first thing we can say about this is the fact that almost, like, by the time he landed, there was this $100 billion arms deal that got approved with Saudi Arabia.
It was a $109 billion arms deal.
Yeah.
Signed to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, what it was $100 billion worth of Mickey Mouse stuffed animals that they were going to hand out to Yemeni children.
Yeah,
inside it's just a M67 grenade and just fucking murks all of them.
I can only assume that in order to like expedite the process, the Saudis just told the State Department to forward all the missiles like just straight to the surface of some Yemeni village.
Trump was like, so how much to get rid of the terrorists? And then Saudi Arabia was just like, 100 billion. How about 100 billion? Trump was like, all right, sounds good. We'll do it.
I'm positive that not a single one of this $100 billion worth of weapons is ever going to feature in some sort of ISIS propaganda video or
not at all.
Newsletter debate.
There is no
Definitely
threat.
not going to end up in Syria.
There is no threat of these weapons ever getting out of the hands of the Saudis that we gave them to.
No, dude, Trump made everyone pinky swear. But
folks, you could trust the king. I had a great talk with him, and he swore ups and downsies that the missiles would stay near the palace.
It's gonna be a good few years for everyone who lives in Yemen right now. Not like they have anything else to worry about besides the impending famine that's going on there and indiscriminate bombings and missilings. U.S. backed by the way, so they're in for some good times.
Remember, America is a force for good. That's why we're selling $100 billion of guns to this fucking medieval fucking dictator, not even a dictatorship, this medieval fucking monarchy. Most of the time fucking just executing gay kids and bombing children and fucking, I don't even know, just refusing to come.
But
yeah, this country that we're completely in bed with that like still beheads people for witchcraft.
You guys gotta remember though, the Yemen government supports American ideology, so we gotta go help them.
But we're not even helping. We're not even helping Yemen like directly. We're just giving weapons to like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The fucking hilarious thing is too is like during half this trip he was talking about how, listen folks, Iran is the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the entire world. So we're just gonna sell our good friend Saudi Arabia, who are not at all responsible for the 9/11 attacks or bankrolling ISIS or the FSA fucking Salafist goons running through Syria or killing 15,000 Syrian Yemeni civilians in the beginning of famine. Listen, folks, the Saudis are good people, beautiful buildings. They're King Solomon, the custodian of the two holy mosques. He's great. He's a great guy, folks. I love Islam.
Yeah, what's fun about this whole Saudi Arabia trip is that you get to see all the manga chuds like do some mental gymnastics and basically because Trump has decided to buddy up with the king, they all suddenly turn into Wahhabists and they're like singing
they're all like Wahhab fucking boys now. Like, oh well, actually, taking pictures is haram, which is why we need to shut down the liberal media.
You know what? Trump bowing to the Saudi Arabian king, that was the most manly thing he could do. Base Trump, curtsying in front of...
We're going to make America Salafist. We're going to purge the kuffar and the munafiqun from America. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Allahu Akbar.
Trump is playing 300-dimensional chess. He's accepted. He's getting like real close in with the Saudi Arabian government. Then he's gonna like declare civilization war.
Oh wait, check chess. Okay, here we go. Sheikh Mott libs. Am I right?
Dude, I pulled up this whole Twitter feed, and basically the shitstorm started when Trump called Islam one of the world's greatest faiths faiths, and it quickly exploded into hashtag President Cucked.
Surely Donald Trump wouldn't anger the Pepes any further by praising another religion during his trip to the Middle East. That's not going to happen.
That's a great lead-in into the second stop, Israel. Did you guys see when Trump got off the plane and just Melania smacking his hands?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She was trying to grab her ass, and then she's like, Dad!
So, and then shortly thereafter that, we had, this actually goes off on another thing I wanted to talk about, with the fact that I actually kind of dig this, like, news to meme cycle we got going on here, because all the awesome photo ops happen while we're asleep, and then Twitter just gets to have a field day. Yeah, Twitter wakes up, gets to have a field day, doing all the hot takes, and then we go to bed, and then Trump does something else, like, really fucking stupid.
Just retarded.
One of what, so getting back on the Donald Trump is just hell-bent on pissing off all the Pepe train. He was the first president ever, which I didn't know this, but he's the first president ever to visit the Western Wall in Jerusalem.
Yeah, the Wailing Wall, yeah.
And they even got him to wear the yarmulke.
I'm sure that's going to go over really well with his staunchest supporters, the Kyrgyzstan insurgents. I know Michael brought up the President Cuck thing, but just fucking watching these just losers lose their shit over Donald Trump not hating Jews is funny. They actually thought that they had they actually thought that this just billionaire New York, oligarch was secretly some like fucking 4chan shit poster, and then this is just like the nail in the coffin for that.
Yeah, going back to Saudi Arabia for a second, in his speech in Saudi Arabia, you guys remember like a couple months back when the fact that Obama never used the term Islamic or radical
Islamic terrorism
or like radical Islam was like
Islamic terrorism,
literally grounds for treason in the eyes of the conservative media, and yet Donald Trump didn't say it. Totally took it out of his speech.
He fucking goes there. He probably had a riveting intellectual conversation with King Salman Dementia Aziz, and after having his views on Palestine changed and challenged by the ever-wise King Salman, he couldn't even fucking have the decency to live up to his promises about saying dumb shit.
We mentioned it earlier, but the memes from this trip has just been a never-ending barrage of just tasty content. I think the first bit of which was when Trump got to Saudi Arabia and he had to participate in that sword dance. Did you guys see that video?
It was rad as hell, man. It was fucking surreal. Did you see fucking Steve Bannon?
Oh, yes. Steve Bannon, in every single picture he's in, he looks just utterly terrified, and it's hilarious.
He looked like he went to the fucking homecoming, and his date just ditched him as soon as he went to the door, and then he gets thrown into the fucking dancing circle with all the black kids, and he's just sitting there ah!
I guess this is what happens when you've convinced yourself and millions of other Americans that Muslims want to literally murder you, and then you get thrown into a room with a bunch of them.
Steve!
With swords.
Steve, come dance, man! It's so much fun!
Yeah, and then I fucking wish that they decapitated him. That'd be pretty funny and kind of ironic, right?
They can keep him, honestly. We should just keep Steve Bannon over as we give him as a present to the Saudi king. King Solomon, as a token of our gratitude, I present to you Steve Bannon for your harem. Please accept this gift as a humble offering from the United States.
Can you imagine Steve Bannon is one of those low-end Saudi princes? That'd be fucking awesome.
I want to see him in the garb and everything. He'll pull a total Lawrence of Arabia.
They will have trial by combat in which you must fight Steve Bannon.
Steve of Arabia.
Fuck,
but yeah, and in the sword dance, we got Donald Trump doing the awkward white guy shimmy and just waving his sword around like a magic wand.
Can you imagine how cool it must have been for Donald Trump? He had a shiny sword just sitting in his hand, and everyone was like, just do something with it, my friend. And he's like, oh, I'm a sword man now. This is like
You guys-
something fun to do.
You folks may dress like women, but you know you're all right. You guys get to play with swords. That's pretty cool. No,
Yeah, actually, they figured out that since Donald Trump has the IQ of a cat, if they just give him like something shiny, he'll be so fixated on that they'll sell him like fucking like nuclear missiles, like fucking drones and shit.
this is awesome. Mike Pence never lets me touch sharp objects.
So what was up with that picture of like the world leaders gathered around some like
Salman and Trump.
The
Oh,
orb.
I can only assume they were summoning Cthulhu.
Listen, guys, I for one welcome our new orb overlords. I praise the almighty orb who's clearly taking control of all of our world leaders.
Yeah, remember, America, we export democracy. That's why we're buddy-buddy with fucking Mohammed al-Sisi and King Salman of Saudi Arabia.
But yeah,
That's why.
for some backstory on that picture, who like literally it blew up my Twitter timeline. That's all anyone could talk about was this picture, this ominous fucking picture of like King Solomon and Trump with their hands on this glowing orb in this dark room surrounded by all these like fucking ghouls in suits. Apparently that was a photo op for them opening this thing in Saudi Arabia called like the Institution for
Portal to the ether.
Close. It's like the Institution for combating extremist ideology.
No shit.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and it literally looks like something out of a Bond movie. It's just a bunch of like guys and computers in like this like high-tech room with like a giant screen in the front. And I guess they're like just kind of on Twitter or something looking for like ISIS guys talking about beheadings. I don't really
like,
know
on the
what they're
computer?
doing.
Did they just chug away and then spurt out one single sentence that says, "Don't sell them $100 billion worth of weapons"?
But yeah, that was nice meme fodder for the meme cannon. There was this other part, this other fun part. Did you guys see the photo op Trump did with Netanyahu?
Oh, God.
Well, during this little friendly exchange, they were shaking hands, posing for the cameras, and then Trump literally turns to Netanyahu and just without any prompting says something along the lines of, I did not mention Israel to the Russians, just to letting you know. And you could see Netanyahu's...
you fucking schmuck.
You could see Netanyahu's face like literally just like go through several different types of emotions as he tries to keep it together for the cameras.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And the funny thing is, like, that's not even what people are accusing Trump of. They're like saying that he was like bragging to the Russians about his intelligence, and he was doing it in such detail that
he accidentally gave away compromising information.
Yeah, he gave
Israeli
away
Mossad assets in Raqqa.
Yeah, he gave away information that could have only, like, by process of elimination, have come from Israel. And Trump thinks that, like, oh no, like, what people are saying is that I literally told the Russian diplomats, I gave them a folder with that has a label on it that says Israeli intelligence.
With a list of kids who threw rocks at Israeli fucking Merkava tanks and that are due for a fucking cruise missile.
Listen, folks, I love the Israeli Defense Force. It's a wonderful organization.
The War of 1948 was the greatest military victory of all time, folks. Israel, a newborn country against 7 Arab countries, folks. You can't explain that, folks. You can't explain that. That was great. It's beautiful. They're the best fighters.
So, what's the next stop on the trip, anyway?
Gargamel.
Oh, actually...
Mordor.
He's going to first the Death Star and then Mount Doom.
I'm assuming to Mecca for Hajj.
He is Trump is literally a halal boy now, so he has to.
Well, he doesn't drink.
True, he's like halfway there, and I bet
he
takes.
Just has to give up pork, and if he gave up pork, he would have to kill himself. So.
And the fact that apparently in day 2 of this trip he was already canceling appearances, I bet he would love the opportunity to like just chill 5 times a day and get some prayers out.
Yeah, true. He's going to be sitting at home. Perfect time to give away 10% of his yearly earnings for charity 5 times in the day where he can just squish his fat, dying body on a prayer mat. You know, I'm sure he converted to Islam while he's over there.
Listen, folks, I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed with this piety, with my charitable donations. I'm giving so much to Mecca. I'm giving more than most people I know. It's unbelievable.
Can you guys imagine a Trump Tower like overlooking the the fucking Kaaba?
They already fucking have a Trump Tower, to be honest. Like, have you seen like some of the new like buildings they've made in Mecca? They're like gaudy as all hell, and they have like as much gold as any like Trump property.
They're just obscene structures around like the most holy site in Islam. They're like, yes, we must organize our society so that way we live in accordance with the Prophet, and also we're going to build high-rise condominiums right next to the Kaaba.
I actually just looked it up, and the next stop on the presidential tour of the world is actually going to be the Vatican.
Oh boy.
We're going to Rome, boys. We're going to Rome, Italy.
Yeah, Jared Kushner is going to get molested.
I hope the Pope does like some sort of like just Christian takedown move of Trump and like blesses him with holy water, and Trump just burns.
Can you imagine Pope Francis and fucking Donald Trump getting locked in a room together? Holy fucking shit, that would be awesome as hell.
It would be more awkward than the like Angela Merkel thing. Be like, so you like gold too, huh?
Yeah, like
I want
the Pope would be like, que chinga los pinches marrones capitalistas, and then Donald Trump would be like, go back to Mexico, you fucking whore.
I want the Pope to call out Trump. That'd be fantastic. And then you get all.
He does, man. I'll become Catholic. I'll stop coming. I'll stop drinking.
I'll stop going to church again if he does that.
And then you get all like the Christian like conservatives in the Midwest going like, ah shit, like who the fuck do we listen to?
Well, all those people are like evangelical Baptists though, so.
Well, they follow the Pope, right?
No, they're Protestant.
Nah,
they're
not down for the Reconquista, my man.
Who leads the Protestant church?
Jesus.
Well, there's no like singular Protestant church though, right? There's like a bunch of them.
True, that's true. So I guess they would have like a bunch of like mini popes.
Yeah. Spot the Catholic kids.
Dude, you know what I want to happen? I want when Trump goes to the Vatican, I want it to turn into like an Angels and Demons type like Dan Brown escapade.
Oh, yeah.
And the only way that the Vatican doesn't get sucked into a black hole is by having Trump solve like what is basically like the backside of an Applebee's placemat logic puzzle.
Oh my god.
Fantastic. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so on a more serious note, as we started out the podcast, we got news about some bombing at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, and it sounds like it was pretty gnarly, like at least 20 people dead. So obviously, thoughts and prayers out to anyone affected by that. That sounds pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, the videos that we're seeing are like pretty
gnarly.
Yeah, they look like people are like really freaked out right now.
I got a news feed up here, and they said that a second device was found, but it wasn't. They did a controlled explosion to take it out.
So it's confirmed, like bombs, at this point.
They can't. The cause of the blast is unknown, but they're treating it as a possible terror incident.
Yeah, there's some weird like curse that this podcast has that every time we're about to start recording, some crazy world event happens, like just starts breaking. Like I remember. Around podcast 2 or whatever, North Korea started launching missiles.
And we were like fucking ready to throw down. That's on the lost episode. That was so shit that we just deleted it.
That's on our Patreon. People that give $20 or more receive the lost episode. Follow us on Patreon.
Oh, also,
Countdown to Apocalypse.
Shouts to my boy Hassan Rouhani for winning another 4-year term as president of Iran.
Oh shit, that came out.
Good job, my man.
We here at the Pseudoadults we back new Iranian election.
Yeah.
All right.
No comments. So that about does it for us this week, guys. Do you boys have anything you want to plug?
Nope.
No, I got nothing.
Solid. All right. Well, as always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends about this crazy shit that we're doing every week. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.
Catch y'all later, guys.
Good work, amigos.